Finding them is going to be hard, but
Steve doesn't count. It doesn't count if it's for transit.
No, I wasn't. I'm just saying, I've never done
I know. Yeah. I wasn't ready. That huh?
All right, hello and welcome. Good morning, or yeah, it's still morning, barely. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jaceres Gates. I generally go by Jay, and I'm open to any pronouns. This is the government's 9th fall meeting. We have our next General Assembly meeting on November 2nd in the Assembly Lecture Hall. We will have additional seating in the Student Lounge in SoCal. As I have mentioned before, this year you will notice some additions to our weekly meetings, including new structures as we strive to be more inclusive and create healing-centered and trauma-informed practices. I want to let those of you know on Zoom and in the lecture room know that this meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Student Government's YouTube page. If you are currently in the Student Lounge in SoCal and you have a question, comment, or concern for open forum, or would like to vote during this meeting, we ask that you sign in via Zoom. If you are present in the lecture hall and are a student visitor representing yourself or a student representing a student organization, I ask that you pick up a placard to be eligible to vote. Today, the Signal is our GAM or General Assembly meeting sponsor and guest speaker. So we will also welcome speakers from student organizations, career services, the Dean of Students Office, and a few others. I ask that all speakers please keep to their designated times. And with that, I call this meeting to order. For those of you on Zoom, in order to help with recording this meeting's roll call, voting, and to ensure we address you all correctly, please update your name to include the one organization you are representing. If you are a student and would like to vote today, please add the word student to your name. We also ask that you add the pronouns you would like for us to use in this forum. I understand that your pronouns might vary in different settings, so please type the ones you are comfortable sharing here today. Also, please type your name and the student and the organization you are representing today in the chat. Again, if you are present in the lecture hall and are a student visitor representing yourself or a student representing an organization, then I ask that you get a placard to be eligible to vote. You might notice in places our PowerPoint and the way we communicate is descriptive to let you know what we will need to do to move the meeting forward. Please take a moment to review the minutes that you received when you signed into the meeting or that were posted in the chat. And if you agree, I will need someone to say, I move that we approve the minutes as written, and another person to say, I second the motion. Then we will discuss and vote to pass the minutes. All students are allowed to vote in this process.
I move to approve last minute meeting.
Is there a second? Okay, any discussion? Any discussion on chat? All right, then we'll go ahead and move to vote. All in favor of approving last week's minutes? Nine, 10. And then 2 people online have raised their hand in favor, so that's 12. Oh, sorry, 3 people. Okay. All right, everybody, go ahead and put your hands down. If Is there any opposed? Please raise your placards. Any abstentions? All right, thank you. The motion is passed. The minutes have been approved with a vote of 14 in favor, 0 opposed, and 0 abstentions. So next we move into fund requests. Our student organization allocation budget is currently at $22,500. The Accounting Association decided to not move forward with their request. We sincerely appreciate their taking the time to put in a request and to present last week, and their willingness to work with us. Today we have a request from the National Society for Black Engineers. So if their representative is here today, please go ahead and come forward and
hello, everyone. My name is Precious Ray. I'm the president for the National Society of Black Engineers. I'm requesting funds for a conference that is for Region 5, which is the state of Texas, Oklahoma, and other southern states, out of a national chapter of NSBE. The conference is November 4th through the 6th next week, and we have 4 members that we're requesting funding for. It's going to be $90 per member, and we're requesting for $360 on behalf of the members. And the conference is very beneficial because there will be over 20 plus companies, including Amazon, Exxon, HP, as well as other tech and STEM companies that are doing career fairs specifically at the conference, and they have booths, and it's virtual, so we don't have to have travel costs. Our members will be online. And in addition to the career fairs, there's resume workshops, hackathons, and debate competitions. So it'll be a well-rounded experience for our STEM majors. And then also if our members are joining and they're not STEM majors as well. I don't know what else to say, but yes, please approve our request.
Add your,
Slide.
yeah, it's on the next,
Oh,
that one. I put that on there.
oh, okay. Yeah, so this is what we submitted to the SGA, more formally descriptive. Yeah, so 20 plus companies, Fortune 500 companies are going to be there, and they're offering internships and post-grad opportunities during this fall regional conference, which happens annually. So we really want to get our members on, we're new student org, so this will be our first time at an event like this. And once again, we're requesting funding for 4 members.
When is your conference?
November 4th through the 6th, 3-day conference.
Does anybody have any questions about this fund request? So the voting will take place next week. So thank you very much for presenting, and we will see you next week when we vote. So for the student orgs are the ones who will be allowed to vote on the fund requests from other student organizations. So please take this back to your student org so you can come back next week and make the decision as to how you will vote. Again, thank you very much for presenting today. And before we move forward, I would like to say to other student organizations, if you want or need to request funds from student government, please use the link available in the agenda. Also, please remember that these are your funds, right? These are student fees, and we want to be able to give these fees out to you. So please send in those requests, work with us. We definitely want to be able to distribute this money. All right, so today, thank you to the Signal for their sponsorship and the amazing snacks that they provided outside, and please welcome.
Talk here.
You don't need to speak the mic.
Oh, please. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Troy Griffin II. I am the managing editor of content and operations at The Signal.
Hi, everybody. My name is Miles Sheltier. I'm the editor-in-chief of The Signal. And we are here to talk to y'all a little bit today just about what we have to offer y'all, as well as some events we have coming up. So first off, okay, good. So first off, if you're interested in joining the staff, we are looking for new staff members right now. We are looking for people interested in writing, blogging, illustration, graphic design, marketing, social media, photography, video, and live recording of on-campus events. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to scan the QR code or go to bit.ly/signalinterest and fill out our very short interest application, and we'll be in contact with you about that. Another thing I wanted to mention really quickly is because y'all are all involved in student organizations, either aligned with kind of your career interests or your personal hobbies and interests, you can always feel free to contribute anything you'd like to the Signal. That includes kind of blogs, opinions, commentary, content. And you can always just email us at thesignal@uhcl.edu. And even if you don't have any writing experience, we can help you all edit and get your content published on our site.
One thing that, especially that we're trying to emphasize as well, is if you are a resident of Hunter Hall, what we are also really looking for are bloggers that live in Hunter Hall who might be interested in blogging about their experience living on campus. So that's another thing that we are kind of seeking people out for. So if you might be a resident of Hunter Hall and you might have an interest in expressing what it's been like living on campus, then we highly encourage you to also contribute to the Signal.
And then next. All right. Here we go. We're also running our haiku contest still, so you can submit a haiku up until tomorrow. We will be selecting the winners of the haiku contest at our Signal social event. The link for that is bit.ly/haiku-signal. And if you're not familiar with what a haiku is, you can check out the submission form, and there are some really nice instructions there for y'all. Definitely submit. We have prizes to give away to the winners, so definitely take your shot and try to compete. And then next up, and our last thing, our Signal Halloween social will be tomorrow afternoon and evening from 4 to 7 p.m. We are located in the Bayou Building, just past the bookstore in room 1239. Feel free to come by. There'll be photo ops, games, trivia, prizes, and all sorts of fun stuff going on. So come stop by and hang out with us and just enjoy yourself and have some time to relax and unwind and have a good time. I know midterms are either still going on or finishing up for everybody. So come de-stress and relax and have some fun.
Yes, yes, yes. Because after all, we're the voice of the students. And what better way to be a voice than by also giving you guys a chance to just have some fun and unwind. So come on down. Fun. All right, that's all. Thank you all very much.
Question, so if a student wanted to submit something, how far in advance would they need to submit to?
So we publish issues about every 2 weeks. So typically, I wouldn't exactly put a deadline on it, but if you send us something, it could take around 2 to 3 weeks to publish, depending on how long it takes to kind of edit and get it back to you and get your edits back and then get it up on the website. But we're very familiar with that process. And so even if you have no writing experience, as I said, we can get you editing and writing and publish, and yeah.
Recruitment, is it job opportunity or it is volunteer opportunity? How is that?
So there's some job opportunities that are kind of limited at the moment. The main job opportunities we have are kind of for editorial staff. They're talking about paid staff positions. But there are some paid staff positions available potentially for live coverage opportunities, as well as Troy mentioned, potentially Hunter Hall bloggers. Yes.
Do y'all have a way for like student orgs to like borrow your equipment? I don't know if you have like photography or like videography equipment, like cameras and things like that. I guess in a way to collaborate with y'all or just to borrow the equipment.
So we do have some equipment. I'm not exactly sure what the policies are for checking it out. I know we allow staff to check out all of our equipment. If you're a student and you need to check out video, audio, visual equipment, you may be able to visit the Arbor building. There's an equipment rental checkout there called The Cage. And they provide that sort of stuff for students to rent for like film projects and that sort of stuff. So you may be able to get that there. All right. One more question?
Do you happen to have a podcast?
And have Clubhouse?
Yeah, like a podcast?
Oh, podcast, I'm sorry. So we've done podcasts in the past, and we're currently actually kind of getting our space updated, the Signal office. And we're in the process of hopefully kind of building up a little studio in one of the former offices that's in our room. And so we are hoping to get podcasts kind of back on track maybe next semester. But it is something that will take a lot of work and setup for sure.
Nevertheless, I would just like to say, there's like so many different mediums that we use to, of course, tell our content and stories and everything. And so, there are certain times where there might be a podcast made for certain content. It just all depends. But like Miles said, we are going through some updates and all. But, nevertheless, I highly encourage everyone to continue checking us out. Because after all, we're your voice, your student newspaper, and most of all, we're your signal.
One quick question in the chat. Can we submit both a 2-sentence story and a haiku?
Absolutely. Yeah, so the haiku contest is actually a haiku contest or a 2-sentence horror story contest. So if you're not familiar with either, there's instructions on the form. The link for that one more time is bit.ly/haiku signal. And to answer the podcast question a little more thoroughly, if you or somebody you know is interested in starting a podcast at the Signal, email us at thesignal@uhl.edu, and we'd be more than happy to help you get it set up and published. Any other questions? Thank you all so much for having us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you all so much. All right, for new business today, we'll focus on some proposed amendments to our bylaws. And these amendments focus on funding and policies that you all have brought to us that have become, or that are, let me try that again, that have brought to us that have become barriers. As I mentioned earlier, these funds are your student fees, and we want more than anything to be able to give them to you. So students who paid the fees to be a part of the university, to a part of this process, so that they get to actually benefit from the use of these fees. So a reminder of the voting process. So first, the motion will be read. First the proposed amendment will be read. Then someone will make a motion to open discussion. The motion needs to be seconded, and then we will start to discuss. And during that discussion period, that can include some friendly amendments. That can also include, as we did 2 weeks ago, that can include limiting to the discussion. It can be limited to today's meeting. It can be limited to however long you want to limit it, if that's something you want to do. Based on the current constitution, what it says is that unless that is limited, it will sit on the floor for 30 days. So again, this is up to this body if somebody wants to make one of those motions. Then depending on how that goes, we will either vote on the motion or we will end discussion and potentially vote as well. So we will move forward into the first proposed amendment, which is Constitutional Amendment Proposal 04 of fiscal year 22. So that states, from addendum to Student Government Association bylaws, student funding guidelines, section 1, subsection 2, we would like to strike the sentence that says SGA will not underwrite the distribution of food and drink at any event. So the reason for this is the rule is an implicit barrier to organizations who may be trying to request funding to host social or special events. So what we're voting on here are what this amendment is about is this line right here. Student government will not underwrite the distribution of food and drink at any event. That line is written into the Constitution right now, or into our bylaws. So we're asking that this line be removed, so that way the fund requests that are coming in that are requesting for assistance with food and drinks at events, so that would be taken out. Okay, so again, this is the proposed amendment is to strike this line. So do I have one person to say that they will move to open discussion on amendment proposal 04 FY22?
I move to open discussion on amendment proposal 04 FY22.
there a second? Motion has been moved and seconded. Okay, so now we have the time to talk about this. Is there any discussion on the floor?
So just,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is there a reason this was written into the Constitution to begin with? Like, was there a reasoning behind why we originally didn't want to help specifically with food and drink?
That section was created by the Student Life Council that no longer exists anymore.
Okay.
Dean Rakita.
Being that I am probably the one who's been here the longest, 26 years. That has always been, at one time SGA was named the Student Forum. The Student Forum turned into the Student Government Association. It has always been part of the bylaws. And I think the thinking was that the student government or the Student Life Council both wanted to make sure that the money was being spent on legitimate programming pieces of a program and not being, I hate to use this word, wasted on lots of food and beverages and drink, that they would prefer it to go into marketing, prefer for it to go into equipment needed for said program and not just for donuts and drink. Now, the way that I kind of just said that, people may think, oh, he's already telling us how he feels about that. I really don't have an opinion, but that's the history.
I mean, I get that totally, and the thinking behind it is reasonable, but now it becomes a limitation for organizations that are just starting out. Because while it does become an incentive to invite people, but it also helps to spread the word about the clubs that are just starting out. So I would say like definitely like have a limitation on how much you can give out in fund, especially in this regard. But limiting that will just limit the growth of the club, and that's not going to help UHCL become a better university because it's going to limit the clubs that potentially could be here.
Has SGA ever ran out of money in previous semesters, like before COVID? Like, have you ever used up the entire budget before?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I have a little bit of information on that.
You go first.
So there have been some years where the executive council has requested that the funds not be swept and be turned over. And there's one year that I have that I've been given information on August of 17 that the balance in August of 17 was at zero. But other than that, we've had anywhere from $61 left to $11,000. And then last year was the 22.5. Do you have anything to add, Dean Rakita?
That's exactly what I was going to say. The answer is rarely have they run out of money. There's been years where they've done a really good job, and I would not have remembered $61, but got down to $61. But most years, no.
One thing to know also as a part of this is the executive council has worked with the Division of Student Affairs this year to request that the 22.5 be swept into our M&O account, and that has been accepted. And what I've been informed, or what we've been informed of, is that Dr. Hart has promised to continue to sweep those funds. So that way, if we do run out of money, or sweep the funds into the student government M&O account, so that way, if we do run out of money, that there will be some ways to cover some of that. Yeah.
Because there is a concern of wasting, like you say, I don't
Sorry, that may have been a poor word choice.
not wasting, but like just having a social, just like requesting funds to get $20 for donuts or something like that. Is there like maybe like introducing like something saying, oh, maybe not fully striking it, but having like, oh, only a percentage of the funds given will go to can be allotted to.
Well, and that's also
refreshments.
part of the responsibility of this body, right? So if somebody comes in and requests $1,500 for food only, then you can vote no, right, on their proposal. So that's also part of the responsibility of this body and these student boards voting on these proposals, is making that decision amongst yourselves. If you don't want to run out of funds, then where are you giving funds? Where are you not giving funds? Does that make sense?
So another part of this fund request process that I would like to put forth is that specifically, like, as I am representing an organization that just started, I was wondering, like, because it's a reimbursement process, so we don't per se need money for a specific event, but we need money to just start up the organization. And yeah, you get like member fees and stuff, but sometimes that's not enough to basically help you spread the word about your organization. So would we like allocate a certain amount, because obviously the student government has the fund to do so, allocate a certain amount for specifically new organizations to basically start out their whole procedure? Because one of the hardest things about organizations that have started per se in the middle of the semester is that not a lot of people know about it. And trying to advertise that, well, that takes money. So for those things, how would we like request funds?
So I want to pause there. I want to say one, thank you for bringing that up. That is extremely important. And definitely want you to work with the EC on creating, because again, this amendment process, anybody can submit amendments. It doesn't just have to be us. So you can work with the EC, you can work with our senators to help us rewrite some of this Constitution. It is available on the SGA website and on Get Involved as well. So I want to say that right this second, and I also want to make sure that we stay on this amendment, because that's the part that we're discussing, or this proposed amendment, because that's what we're discussing right now. So is there any more discussion on this specific proposed amendment? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Please. I was just. Yeah. So like right now, according to Constitution, SJ is not even like having any rights to like underwrite the food distribution fund. So if it is 1% or 2%, we are not supposed to have like approve that, like student body. So that's the reason why this should be struck off, so that we get a chance to review how much we should give and how much this body decides on giving that.
And the other thing is that there are organizations that get funds from other places that also potentially can't be made for food. And so even if you have, say you have a $1,500 event and all you need is $400 because $1,100 is paid for somewhere else, all you need is $400 for food, then right now you can't get that. So this is something to keep in mind. Any other discussion? Yes.
I want some clarification. It seems that the wording is that you will just, the SG, the student government cannot underwrite the distribution of foods, but that does, at least when I'm just reading it, it doesn't seem like that implies that funds will not be distributed as a result of that. Is that just, are you just suggesting that this is the natural cause of how things go? Or it maybe the problem is that the people who are responsible for distributing should be a little more lenient?
So as it says that SGA will not underwrite the distribution of food and drinks, that means like if any org is coming up with in the budget, they say that this money is used for food, it is not approved at all. We, first of all, EC doesn't approve that. Like our administration department, they don't approve that first case, and second, that they are not approved to present in front of student orgs, because it is against our bylaws.
So is that to say that the spending money on food is in is somewhere else in the Constitution process?
We don't have anything about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm still kind of confused, sorry. Why is the objection to like spending money on food? Where does that come from?
I guess Dean Regina answered that question.
I think we're specifically getting it from this line, from this section when it talks about the underwriting. So we're, I guess, looking at the underwriting saying that we will not pay for food because of this specific line. There's no other one that we feel is really contributing to that rule besides this line.
All right.
Any other discussion? Any emotions?
For clarification, what I'm understanding is that by taking or by passing this amendment, the SGA will be able to pay for food and drink, or is it the other way around?
Yes. Removing this will enable us to be able to pay for food and drink, yes.
Thank you.
Adding is that this body has to decide upon the
Right.
limitations.
Right.
Yeah.
So either way, you have to approve. Okay, just, again.
The body, not us, the body. has to.
Correct, the
Yeah.
body has to approve.
Yes, yes.
So,
Mr. Denny?
Yeah, just a thought, and it's up to this body what you want to do, but you have lots of tools to manage your spending besides just the bylaws. This body could choose to, you have a budget right now that you use to entertain requests for funding. You could, within that budget, say, we're going to dedicate X dollars to food requests. And then as you approach that, then have a conversation that, well, we only intended to spend X and we're getting X plus requests. And it's a budget. So it's always just a plan. You can always do something different from your budget, whereas the bylaws are kind of hard and fast rules. But those are things that you could create if there was concern about how the dollars were being spent.
moving on.
Would you say who you are, please?
Oh, I apologize. My name is Mark Denny. I'm the Vice President for Administration and Finance and a guest here today. Thank you.
Thank you. That also plays into the information that you just received because of where it comes from as well. Yes.
When you say the body will approve, do you mean the majority on that specific day that you are not counting the full student body?
Right. So that is the student organization. Student organizations are the ones who can vote on fund requests only.
So when you say student organization, one vote will be counted per student organization. So is it
that are present in the room or on Zoom. Yes.
all right, perfect. Thank you.
All right, we got it.
Well, we might have to table the rest of them. Any other discussion? Okay, any motions, any other motions on the floor? Do you want to leave this open and come back to it next week? Do you want to vote anytime soon? What does that look like for y'all?
Vote on it.
Okay, so then what I need you to say is that you want to move to limit discussion to this meeting.
Yes.
Is there a second on the floor?
I second.
So any discussion about voting on this piece, on the motion to limit discussion to this meeting?
Has there been other discussions prior to this meeting?
No, this is the introduction of this bylaw or this proposed amendment. Any other discussion before we move into voting? Any online?
The comments from the previous discussion about when we were talking about the underwrite portion. But they're saying they want to vote.
Okay, so to be clear, what we're about to vote on is the motion to limit discussion to just this meeting. That's the only thing we're voting on right now. So if you are in favor of limiting the discussion to just this meeting, please raise your placard or raise your hand on Zoom. Okay, go ahead and put your placards down, and we have 9 on. 9, I got 9. Okay, any opposed? Raise your hand. Oh, sorry, for those on Zoom, go ahead and put your hand down if you are Okay, there we go. So any opposed, go ahead and raise your hand, your placard. So we have 2 opposed. And then 2 online that are opposed. Okay, go ahead and put your placard in your hands down. Any abstentions? Okay, so the motion to limit the discussion to just this meeting has passed with a vote of 24 in favor, 4 opposed, and 1 abstention. So now we will move into the vote on this amendment. So the amendment, again, I'll read it again. It states that that we will strike, student government will not underwrite the distribution of food and drink at any event from the current bylaws. So all those in favor of passing this amendment, Ray, go ahead and raise your placard. And 10 online. Okay, oh, 12. Okay, go ahead and put your placards in your hands down. Okay. Go ahead and put your hand down if you have it raised. Thank you. Any opposed? Like 1 opposed. Great, go ahead and put your hand down, please. Thank you. Any abstentions? Okay, go ahead and put your placards down. Thank you very much. Okay, so the proposed amendment 04 fiscal year 22 that we will strike, student government will not underwrite the distribution of food and drink at any event has passed with a vote of 26 in favor, 1 opposed, and 3 abstentions. Okay. For the, because we are getting close to time, please take a look at your agenda. We have 2 potential amendments coming up that we will go ahead and table for our next meeting due to time. So those are written out on your agenda. Okay.
Yes. On the agenda for the 3rd constitutional amendment, what would be changed? Would the 2,000 total be just taken away and that's it? Nothing there?
We really, for that amendment, wanted to, I forget the word that Jay used, friendly amendment. So we wanted to pose that amendment to the floor without the 6,000 being hard and fast. Just open that to discussion, because thinking right now it's set as a $2,000 limit for all organizations to share. And originally it was thought that one organization has a $2,000 limit, but that how it reads is that it's shared between all organizations. So we're thinking that cap should be increased for all organizations to share. But we also want to discuss like if that should be the cap, if that's too low, too high, or if there should be cap at all. So
please bring your thoughts next week on that, and feel free to email us in between, or just to have that conversation with us in between. All right. I'm going to table my executive reports. You as well. Y'all good to table your executive reports? You good? Okay. So we're going to table our executive reports for this week due to time. We don't currently have any Treasury, Senate reports, or committee reports. The Senate will be meeting, I think, the 11th of November. So please talk with your senators before that meeting if you have anything you need to discuss. Okay, so next is Crystal with the
Oh my gosh.
Sorry for the presentation, missing out this thing. In your agenda, you can see that we have committee reports. So I would like to call upon Dean Rakita to speak about ASFAC and academic honesty updates.
How's everybody doing?
Great. Thank you.
I'm moving slow because this is week 5 of me throwing my back out.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not fun. Don't turn 53 and sneeze and throw your back out. It's a true story.
At least not to those back out.
At least not the back part. Really quick, I am in need of student committee members for 2 committees. The first one is SFAC, Student Fee Allocation Committee. You've heard about it. This is the panel, 9 members, 2 faculty, 2 staff, 5 students. This Texas state statute that puts this committee together. Okay, so it's through Austin. That's how important this is. This group will hear budget requests from the Division of Student Affairs, so like the Dean of Students Office, or the Student Involvement Leadership Office, or the Counseling Center, and there's several more, okay? You would hear these budget requests. You would also be asking questions, hey, how did you spend your money last year? Because they may not be asking for new money, but you want to know how did they spend their money last year? How successful are they? You then would decide as a group, hey, we've got 1, 2, 3 budget requests from the Division of Student Affairs. Do we need to raise the student service fee? The student activity, somebody went, oh, the student activity fee in order to fund these items. So like, for instance, the Counseling Center may come to you and say, we're about to have waiting lists, which means we're not gonna be able to see counselor or clients, students who are having emotional issues, who need mental health, wellness help. For 3 or 4 weeks after they contacted us, we would like to hire an additional counselor. I'm making this all up right now, it's hypothetical. But that may take more money from a student fee increase to make that happen, and this group may decide that that's important, okay? I need 5 members. You don't need to worry about this right now, but 3 of them are 2-year members, 2 of them are 1-year members. We can figure that out later. I'm not worried about that, all right? I just need 5 people. The budget hearings are going to start mid-November, end of November. Probably we will meet 3 or 4 times. At least 2 of those meetings might be half days or a full day. So there's time commitment involved, but you probably won't meet for the rest of the year. All right, so this is kind of like a one and done thing where you can say, I was involved, I took an active role on campus, and you don't really need to worry about it for spring semester. All right, I'll be available after the meeting for questions. Number 2, academic honesty hearing. I am in a pinch right now, all right? That's my own fault. Part of it is because I threw my back out and kind of been out of commission. There are times when a cheating issue has to go to a hearing. Well, we are at that moment where I have to facilitate an academic honesty hearing. And I need to do it in the next 2 to 3 weeks at the most. We do not have student reps to serve on this panel. That panel also is 9 members, 4 faculty, 4 students, 1 administrator, okay? I need a pool of students, like 2 or 3 from each of the 4 colleges, education, business, humanities, sciences. I need 2 or 3 from each college so that I always got people to draw from. But 2 to 3 weeks from now, I need at least 1 person from each college. And you're gonna hear a case. It's not the court of law, but it kind of runs like a court of law. It's very interesting. And then you all would make a decision, is that student responsible? And if so, was the sanction appropriate? It's more technical than that, but that's what we'll say for now. Good. Come see me, come see these folks. For both of them, for SFAC and for academic honesty, It's the EC's constitutional responsibility to make those appointments. So you really can't come to me and volunteer, although I would love for that to happen. You really need to go through your executive council because they're the ones that need to make that appointment to make it official, okay? And Vice President Denny wanted me to throw in that he also needs volunteers for the Transportation Advisory Council because he doesn't have anybody. All right, I'll be available for questions afterwards. Thank you. Go Astros.
Yeah, please.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I know I said I would table my reports, but I have something that is time pressing. So I would like to, I don't know if it's on here, but let everyone know that student government is looking for seniors who are graduating this semester to give the invocation, benediction, alumni address, and student address during the commencement ceremonies this fall. All speeches will be pre-written except for the student address, which will be unique to the student. We're looking for 8 graduating students, 2 from each college, and 8 possible alternates. Deadline to apply is November 1st. Nominated speakers must have displayed leadership on campus, done well in their academics, participated in community service, have a unique story about themselves, and drafted a speech if applying for their student address speech. If you or someone you know is interested, please email sga@uhtl.edu with nominations. Thank you. All right, now for student organization announcements, we will have Alexis Sarpoli from Campus Activity Boards talking about October's upcoming events.
Thank you, and I'll make this very short. Okay, so Fall Fest, you guys know, 6 to 8 p.m. is activities, costume contest, haunted house, pumpkin painting, and giveaways, face painting. And then from 8 to 10 is the outdoor movie in the rec center backyard. We are showing Coco. If you guys want to be a scare, please come to us. We are begging you, please. So just email us at cab@uhcl.edu and you can become a actor or scarer for the haunted house. Domestic violence awareness event is this Thursday at 6 to 8 p.m. in the Hunter backyard. If it does rain and the grass is wet, we will be in the STEM lobby. There will be dinner, speakers, and a candlelight service. So please come out to that. November 5th is Nacho Day. We are going to be creating Frito pies. We have a huge display of toppings. It's going to be really good. We're going to be from 12 to 1 in the SoCal second floor SSCB lobby, second floor SoCal room. Veterans Day celebration. It is Thursday, November 11th from 11 to 12 p.m. in the Bayou Building Atrium 1. If you want to write a thank you card and eat free food and listen to speakers, please come to that event. And then last but not least, this is the International Education Week. This will be in the Bayou Building Atrium 2 from 9 to 10 a.m. on November 19th. So please come, and I'll mention this again next week, just so you guys all know. Thank you.
All right, next we have Stephanie Zamora from the Art Association talking about her October events and participation opportunities. Stephanie?
She online?
Oh yeah, she's on too. All right, Stephanie.
You can search.
All right, you should be able to.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Hi everyone. Apologies for joining online, but thank you for everyone for joining this SGA meeting. My name is Stephanie Zamora. I'm part of the SGA representative of the Art Association. And for this agenda, I'll be going over our participation of the Fall Fest and our annual art sale announcement, as well as I'll be going over the requirements to participate in the art sale. So, can can you transition to the next slide, please? I apologize. I don't really have control over the slides.
No, you're fine. My bad.
So for Fall Fest, we're going to be hosting a eye mask decorations station, while we'll have a bunch of cool mask templates that anyone can come over and decorate. They can personalize it, make it scary, make it sweet, funny, whatever you guys do. I hope you guys can join us and have a great time during Fall Fest. And then up next, we're proudly announcing our annual art sale that will be happening from November 15th through the 19th. And it's a great opportunity for students to sell their artwork, engage with the community, and buy some nice handcraft pieces. Everyone's welcome. Our only requirement is that you're part of our organization. You have your paid fees. And for students, it's only $5. And if you know anyone that's interested in participating and that are not a student, we only ask that they pay their community dues of $15 to join. And in the next slide, I'll be sharing our 2 required meetings to participate in our art sale. So for the first meeting is gonna go over the details of the art sale. We had one yesterday, but we're also having one coming up on the 1st from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And it's optional, it's in person and Zoom. So for the in-person location, it will be located in the Arbor Central Building, room 131502. And our second requirement is that you join in for our general member meeting, which is going to be hosted on Monday, November the 8th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Same location as I stated earlier, Arbor Central or on Zoom. And if you guys have any questions at all about the art sale, the requirements, joining our org, please don't hesitate to email us at ourassociation@uhl.edu, or you can come find me at the SoCal room. I'm usually there from Monday through Fridays from 10 to 9 p.m. at night, or you can catch us at the Arbor Central building. We're usually there as well, but again, thank you so much for everyone that joined today, and thank you for the SGA for allowing me to speak. And I just hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Due to time, we're almost out of time. I would like for Ms. Chandler and Feroz to, I know they both want to speak. I'm going to try to talk. I'm going to go ahead and go through the end and then ask them to, anybody who wants to stick around, so please do and let them speak, because I definitely want them to be heard. Their events are important. Okay, closing remarks. The next SGA, the next Student Government General Assembly meeting will be held on November 2nd, 2021 through in-person and synchronous options for those who are unable to join us. At 11:20, Student Government will hold a weekly mindfulness activity. If you would like to participate, please be present by 11:15 to sign in and gather important information. The doors will reopen at 11:25 so others can join us, and we will begin promptly at 11:30. To schedule agenda time, a completed request form must be submitted on the Student Government website by 12 noon on Wednesday, October 27th, 2021. Online forms are available at www.uhcl.edu/SGA. For our quote of the day, history isn't something you look back at and say it was inevitable. It happens because people make decisions that are sometimes very impulsive and of the moment, but those moments are cumulative realities by Marsha P. Johnson. All right, thank you very much. With that, the meeting is adjourned. So for those of you who want to stay and participate, oh, and pollution too, yes. So we'll start with Ms. Chandler, if you want to please come down and present. So if you need to go from Zoom, we understand.
We
We are still doing our professional development workshops. All the details for the workshops are on Jobs for Hawks and Get Involved. We have 2 tomorrow and then 1 on Friday. The main thing that I wanted to tell you all is that we are doing a hiring event, the TCEQ, at the Pearland campus. It's open to any environmental students. They're hiring 20 environmental investigators, and they're hiring on the spot. So if you would be interested in doing that, it's going to be on Tuesday, November 2nd and Wednesday, November 3rd at the Pearland campus. They are interviewing on a first come, first served basis, but they will be there for both days. And information for that, all of the documents that you'll need is going to be on Jobs for Hawks. The other thing that I wanted to mention was that we are doing the teacher career fair on November 9th, which is going to be in the Work and Wellness Building. And it's going to be from 12:30 to 2:30. And that's open to all UHCL students who are interested in education.
The winner is,
thank you.
Congratulations.
you want us to announce it too?
Yeah, sure. Hey y'all, really quick, the signal is giving away the pumpkin we have outside the table, and the winner is Sydney B.
Say that.
Sydney B.
Oh, no.
All right. Should know it. You know where you go.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Feroz, going pronouns him and his. I'm the coordinator of International Student Programs. I work with the Office of Student Diversity, Equity and Inclusion. I would like to talk about Global Expo Cultural Extravaganza. I'm here because we're looking for cultural representatives and cultural performers for our event. This is happening in November 18 from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Bio Building Atrium 2. If you are someone who'd like to represent your culture, all you have to do is email me and then I will send you the forms or any other additional about the events and what to do, what kind of help I can provide for you, what kind of resources that you will need to set up a booth and anything like that. This event used to be just Global Expo and a completely separate event called Cultural Extravaganza. We wanted to unify 2 events and make it a much stronger cultural event that builds a stronger global engagement opportunities for our students. Again, this is an amazing opportunity for any student leaders or any students who feel like they want to reach out to more folks in their community or represent their culture at UHCL. Please feel free to reach me. And that is me. Yes.
Where is this hosted?
This is hosted at Bio Building, Atrium 2.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think next. Oh, shit.
Finished.
Really quickly, thank you.
Is Cecilia King one here?
Yeah.
You won our pumpkin.
Oh, the Signal would like to announce their pumpkin winner quickly.
Yeah, Cecilia, you won. So you can meet us outside of the table. You get a carving kit with it. Yes.
Thank you, student organizations, for sticking after a little while. Office of Student Involvement and Leadership is hosting an RSO, Registered Student Organization, Officer Meet and Greet. And it's going to be on Tuesday, November 2nd, from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock in SoCal. Please send 2 officers, typically your primary and secondary officer. Feel free to take a photo. We'll have games and icebreakers, and it'll be a great time to discuss future collaborations. This is very important. If you have a graduating senior, honor cord forms are due November 1st. That's Monday. So please go to Get Involved and submit your form to us. If you need any help, please email us. Yes, ma'am?
Does that mean graduating this semester or next semester?
This semester.
Or summer 2021.
Or a summer graduate. But the main thing is November 1st is the deadline, and we want to make sure that all of those seniors that have worked so hard are able to obtain those honor cords. So please submit those forms to us. Thank you.
your placards in the back. Eric.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much.
I'll take them home.